I had a pretty frustrating interaction with a photographer this week, and the week just got started. So that's not a good sign. They were upset and they reached out to me because we had signed a contract with a different photographer to work on a project that they felt they deserved, that we should have asked them first, that the idea of the project is something that they inherently owned. And it wasn't really so much about the project or the idea of the project. And just to be clear, we're allowed to hire whoever the hell we want. And the idea was a wildly ubiquitous idea. There was no infringement on creative ideas here. But what this really came down to, what was at the heart of this, and what I had to very bluntly remind them was that they were trying to snipe out a competitor in their marketplace that they didn't like. They saw we hired this person, and instead of just ignoring it, which is the right thing to do, they attacked us, the client, and try to pull us into their drama with another photographer. It doesn't take much in this industry for photographers to turn what essentially is just creative overlap into conflict. And it's rarely about the work itself. It's about a battle of egos. So let's dive into that. Are you tired of the endless stream of fantasy marketing and vanity metrics? Yeah, so am I. My name is James Patrick, and I'm an internationally published photographer, media specialist, and marketing strategist. As a creative entrepreneur, I face the same exact frustrations you have, being bombarded by generic advice that promises success but never lives up to the hype. We need to move beyond the posturing, beyond the facade, beyond the image to navigate the unique challenges we face as creatives. Together, we're going to dive into real stories, real strategies, and the real work that can lead to the real results. This is the Beyond the Image podcast. What is going on? Thank you so much for tuning to this, our last episode of the Beyond the Image podcast. I'm glad that you could take some time to get some information and get a little inspiration to help you in your creative entrepreneurial journey. Speaking of, this week, we have our first ever cover sessions at the Hive Studios in Phoenix, Arizona, where you get to do a live photo shoot in front of a panel of experts who will guide you and mentor you through the process. So we get to see your creative vision, your methodology, your approach, and then give you advice on ways that you could hone in on your craft. So that is Thursday, May 28th at the Hive Studios. You can RSVP for that. We only have 3 spots left, by the way. Details are available, hivestudiosaz.com/workshops. All right. It does not take much within this industry for things to spiral out of control. And when you get an ego that is fragile enough, and let's be honest, photographers, we really struggle with our ego. Maybe it's that creator mindset. But when that gets factored in, all of a sudden you are hit with this endless barrage of copying accusations. Oh, they stole my work. They copied me. I came up with that idea first. Character attacks. Oh, he or she's not a good person. They're a cheat. They take advantage of their clients. They rip off their clients. Public sniping. So they're not just saying this in private. They're posting about it in Facebook groups. They're having discourse about it with other clients, which is malicious undermining. They're trying to harm another person's business. Not because the other person is inherently always bad. And I want, okay, let's get the objections out of the way. Yes, there are bad actors in any business. Fine. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about just jealous competition. I'm talking about people who get so frustrated when they see someone else succeed that they have to justify it in their mind that they must have cheated to get there, that they must have done something nefarious or wrong or untoward in order to achieve what you personally haven't achieved yet. And that's a really shallow perspective to take. That's what I'm talking about here. Because I mean, what the hell are we doing here? In this instance that I referenced at the top of the show, I have had photographers try to pull me into the middle of their conflicts with other photographers as if I'm supposed to take sides, as if I'm supposed to validate their very narrow perception, as if I'm supposed to get into the dirt and the muck and the grime with them. I'm sorry, that's not how this works. In this situation, I was the client. And as a client, I chose to hire a photographer for a project. Me hiring that photographer upset another photographer. And instead of just swallowing their pride, which is the least they could have done, is take a giant dose of ego control, or instead of trying to figure out ways to better their relationship with me so that they can be considered for an opportunity, they chose to email me to yell at me for hiring another photographer. That is unacceptable behavior. It feels like I'm perpetually in this bad Western where you got the two guys standing at the center of town as sun's setting. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. The reality is, these are just creatives existing in the same ecosystem. No one needs permission to be a photographer. You don't need the validation of a photographer to be able to pick up a camera. And more importantly, another photographer existing in the marketplace is not a threat to you. And I feel like that's such an important point that I am going to repeat it. Another photographer existing in the marketplace is not a threat to you. You see, ultimately, you have two types of photographers that exist in this dynamic. The first lives in a reactionary mindset. Everything is comparison. Everything is getting on the defensive. Their entire mindset is someone is out to get me. Someone is out to best me. And that mindset doesn't build anything long term aside from resentment and anger and jealousy and isolation. And when you have all those things, it collapses under its own weight. The second type, they don't participate in it. They're not chasing narratives. They're not monitoring and stalking other photographers. They're not trying to win arguments in an active marketplace by spewing out BS to clients about others, about why others are so bad to work with. And when you do that, do you think that makes you look good? What do you think when someone comes to you and talks a bunch of trash? What you think is they're probably talking trash about me the second they walk away. I can't imagine that's what you want people thinking about you. So this other side of this, who are not participating in it, who are not chasing narratives, what are they doing? They're building clients. They're building trust. They're building relationships. They're focused on real positioning of their brand in the marketplace. They're focused on consistently putting out great work. That's it. Here's the most important part, I think, of this whole thing. Clients do not want to be a part of these conversations. Full stop. Clients do not care about this ridiculous, petty photography drama. They don't want to be pulled in the middle of it. They see it as unprofessional. They see it as uncomfortable. They see it as crossing boundaries. They don't care. All they care about is results. They're hiring a service provider. This is not, and like I shouldn't have to say this isn't grade school where you need to get everyone's favor, where the most popular one wins. Clients care about results. They don't care about your drama. So if you want to build attention, do it through execution. If you want to build trust, do it through consistent work. And if you want to build authority, do both of those things over time. Because you won't build any of those things by trying to undermine other photographers. The photographer who lasts within this industry understands something very straightforward. They understand that noise does not build a business. Work does. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We'll catch you on the next one. Happy shooting.